fool enough to say the word to my face. It is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Maybe she wanted to meet you but couldn't. Something could have happened to her. Maybe she
Possibly.
passed away.
Or
You
kept
might
away.
be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
That's it. How do they deal with that?
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Good talk. Hey, Malenko. Malenko? Is that it? Hey, what's up, Gaten?
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Is this an official evaluation, Commander? Or off the record?
Speak mind, fool.
Malenko, when it's just you and me, you can consider it off the record.
Yeah, man.
That's a generous attitude. Okay. I think there's something wrong with all this. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander.
Of course not.
There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
We've got our orders. Belly aching won't change them.
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming.
Oh, they saw it coming.
Sorry if I got too
They saw
informed.
They saw
Protocol
10 ways
wasn't a big
Friday
focus back
coming.
in Bot.
I didn't go through bad training for my biotics. Tell me about it.
But they figure
Biotic acclimation and
they're
maintenance
idiots.
didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in.
they got too stuck on their own
Encouraged
old
to
glory.
commit to an evaluation of
Do
our
anything real?
abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element zero in the womb.
So yeah.
Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
I heard all about that. How companies would arrange accidents to expose people to element zero.
Accidents.
There was never any proof of that. It's not what happened in my case, anyway. My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics.
Think so?
A little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
What's like indeed.
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using mass effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
So
There
dark.
were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out.
That's
We
nice.
didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
You were all teenagers. I'm sure you found other ways to occupy the time.
Right.
I'm not the
Morning
sort
teen?
who does that kind of thing, Commander. Not lightly, anyway. There was a girl I spent a lot of time with, but we kept our clothes on. Rana.
Rana.
She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful. But not stuck up about it. I think you'd have liked her.
Sound
Sounds
pretty
like she was
special.
special to you.
How?
She
See?
was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
Paths never cross at the same time.
You know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to
That'll take some
track
element
down
zero
individuals.
exposure. Give me some
Then
powers.
no one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation.
Add for
Anything
Vanguard powers?
Kinetics did
Absolutely.
was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts.
I am.
In retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
too damn quick. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Jump Zero is a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks
Katie,
a
you
lot
can come with me
better
next.
than this. But that's my own baggage, Commander. No bearing on this.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends with your commander.
Not here anyway. Not my
I
ship.
appreciate that, Commander. I just don't want you to think that I'm a whiner. Besides, I've got my past squared away.
You say that, but do you mean it? Ooh, I like all that. Alright, downstairs. Save real quick. Talk. Yep. Holly, down here, right? There she is. There she is.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been
Adams.
spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is.
Right,
Give her
right,
a month
right.
on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Maybe, maybe not.
Fill me in on the IES stealth systems. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage
You're so
sinks
spoiled.
built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location.
So
Eventually the
spoiled.
sinks have to be vented.
Y'all see
More than a
this?
few hours silent
Y'all
running
seen
and
this?
they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
Not to naked eye.
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster than light travel?
Cranking up to FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
Dun dun dun.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment
Impressive.
was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
I want to know more about
Ooh,
the
didn't
Normandy.
count Normandy.
She's
Normandy
the
is the
best ship
shit.
I've ever served on.
The best of the
Probably
best.
The fastest vessel ever designed. And she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
It just said.
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
I respect it.
Carry on, Adams.
Till next
Yeah,
time.
Commander.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space.
Come up
I
in
have
world.
to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It
Right,
comes
right.
with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource.
Oh yeah?
But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your
300
fleet's still using
years
ships
ago.
that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly.
Most.
We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Get
Tell
more
me
about the
about your
coins.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million
You gotta do that on my lap.
flotilla, and each of us relies on the
Hello.
others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong.
Give me that look.
Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
Like what?
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed.
So much
In
lore drop.
extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births.
Incentives, you say?
Though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
Ooh, what's a conclave?
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice,
So democratic.
the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives.
They're the United
But
States
in
of America.
theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking
Military.
military officials in the fleet
United States of America.
serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty
What are you
Board
doing
has
over there?
only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries
You would
since
think
they
you
drove
should-
my people
you should be
into
able to.
exile.
Oh.
All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Oh, speak.
Interesting.
Drop that lore, girl.
The
Drop
Geth
that
were
lore.
originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them
Go.
closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal.
Yeah,
The
technically.
changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So the Geth share brain power?
Yeah.
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
So there's some sort of group consciousness.
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.